Hey, welcome back to the channel. Go ahead, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, comment, let me know, are you a fan of Young Dolph? Who you rocking with? Where you from? Let's get right into it, man. So if they're gonna release Ralo out, that means CMG might be going in. And so it's always a trade-off, you know what I mean? With the feds, like they're not just gonna let one person go without taking in another person or knowing that they're gonna have something equivalent or even of a greater thing that they're gonna get back. Just like how they traded Brittany Griner for that one dude who did way worse things, but they always go for the trade. Anytime somebody's getting out, that means more people are coming in. And it works both ways, whether in the streets or not, because a lot of times when big dudes in the streets get knocked off, it's another person they're waiting to take their spot. And that's exactly what's going to happen in CMG's case. And that's really what happened, because once Ralo got locked up and everything, and Guccimane was gone for a while and everything, it was really only all eyes on CMG and QC that was rising up. And basically CMG replaced the problematic group that the feds is always looking for. Everybody's always looking for that outlier, the black sheep, the people who's always, you know, in the mix, causing trouble, whatever that might be, because they were like, okay, Ralo was doing and running up all the stuff, you know, they was looking at Ralo's people. They caught them with the vans filled with a bunch of stuff in there that they was not supposed to be having in Georgia. And so what y'all got to understand is that now once they got them caught up, they were looking for anybody else, like what other group can we look for? And that's when they ran into CMG. Just right after Ralo got locked up is when Black Youngster went and did the 100 shots in Charlotte on Dolph. And he actually turned himself in for that. So that means he self-snitched, told on himself that he really did that. Because you wouldn't turn yourself in for something if it didn't actually happen and if you didn't actually do it. And so the thing is the fact that he agreed, he signed the paperwork and took the plea deal so that he turned himself in so that they could hurry up, take his statements and try to let him go, because he was really going to be the one that tells on whoever else was with him, whether he told on Big Jook, whether he was with Shondell, whoever else was with him is basically worried that they might have told on him, because that's why they released and dropped all the charges on Black Youngsters, because they already knew that somebody else was going to be the fall guy for it. And most of the times, people have chess pieces and pawns that are going to be the ones that get wiped out first. The real masterminds, the real ringleaders, and the ones that are at the top of the chain calling the shots, the big dogs. The big dog's always going to be hiding behind the whole entire field of people that they got in their entire group and army and everything like that. That's just the way things work, man. The guy who's making all the decisions, who's making all the money and stuff, he's not going to be the one running around on Front Street 10 toes in the ground and actually hacking stuff up and making things move in the streets. That's not how it works. They're going to be behind the scenes hiding off. That's why a lot of times Yo Gotti's been behind the scenes, ducking off, hiding off. And all he has to really do is make one quick phone call. He make a phone call to Big Jook. Big Jook called the reinforcements, and the reinforcements show up, place and time, exactly as directed that they were told to do. And so once you realize that and you pinpoint and actually start putting two and two together, people actually open their eyes up and start waking up to the facts that they need to look at the facts as a revolving door, and that Memphis needs to come together to bring the peace, because there's no way that people are going to be able to just keep going on and on year after year after year of all these problems, all this beef and all this issues that's going on. No one's getting better. And so to uplift the community, people need to start doing things like Dolph was doing the backpack giveaways, doing the turkey drives, doing all these different things that's actually making it to where people can sit back and enjoy their community for once, instead of always having to watch over their back, look over their shoulder, worrying about who's after them, what group of neighborhood they're in and all that stuff. It makes it to where people is going to be stuck in that crab in a barrel mentality where they feel like they can't go nowhere because of the what CMG is going to think, what this person's going to think, what that person's going to think. And a real life example of that is when Grove Hero actually was trying to make it out of Memphis as a comedian, and he was actually stuck in Yo Gotti's neighborhood. Like every time he was doing something, they jumped on and tried to control that first. And so the minute that Grove Hero linked up with Dolph and they noticed that he started linking up with Dolph, he called Yo Gotti, he called Big Jook. He asked them, hey, would y'all have a problem with me actually doing business and going on tour with Young Dolph, because I'm trying to get this 250K if I go. And they said, nah, if you mess with Dolph, if you rock with Dolph, you can't actually be friends or cool with us at all. So any type of money that was coming your way from us that we already worked out, you ain't getting that no more. And that's kind of where they left that relationship at. It was a sour taste in Grove Hero's mouth. And Grove Hero knows at the end of the day that Dolph was in the right and that CMG, Yo Gotti, and them were in the wrong for trying to cast him out and throw him out and ban him from Grove Ridge and everything just because of the fact that he actually was rocking with Young Dolph and was making money and everything. It wasn't about Memphis. It wasn't about the street situation. It wasn't about the neighborhood situation. It wasn't about the baby mama drama or nothing like that. They just didn't like the fact that Dolph was letting this other dude shine who they themselves were keeping down and putting the foot on his neck and basically making it to where they taking half the bread or anything like that you could imagine that they could actually ride up and work together because they know that they try to intimidate him and everything. They got Big Juke, they got Black Youngster, they got the enforcers, the people who's going to come up and act tough and try to scare you into going along with the whole procedure and everything like that. But Young Dolph actually gave a lot of game to Grove Hero. He spit a whole lot of game on how to actually make business run and how to get his bread up without having to go under the wing of somebody like Yo Gotti, because the purpose of them when Dolph was actually showing and mentoring Grove Hero and everything like that, it was so that later on Grove Hero was going to be able to venture out on his own and that he was going to be able to make his own motion and then actually do the same process to somebody else younger and all that. He got kids and everything like that. And so Dolph already seen that. He was trying to help this dude make it out and everything like that. But, you know, when they started with Yo Gotti, they was mad that it was Dolph the one that was helping him out because that made Yo Gotti and them look bad. Imagine you you beefing with the ops and whatever like that, and your other opponent or whatever is actually a good guy and they actually help and better the community. That would make the bad guys so much more mad because they working so hard to destroy everything, to bring everything down, and Dolph over there effortlessly making miracles happen. And so that's where people need to realize that it's way better to do the right things than go down the wrong path in life and start messing around and actually hating for no reason and taking opportunities away from people. All that stuff is just nothing that needs to be done. That's a mentality that needs to be thrown in the garbage because at the end of the day, people got to come together. The community is not going to get better if people don't actually change the way they think and start moving in a way where they're uplifted and changing the things around them. Because if you don't make the changes yourself, then it's not going to happen. And so people had to actually break out of the mindset and uplift each other and get people to thinking for the long run and not just for short-term enjoyment. A lot of people, they do crazy things because of the short-term gratified, the gratification that they get in the very small instance from doing something hype, but then they always regret the decisions they make in the long run, whether things come back to bite you, whether you get in trouble for what you did or somebody gets get back or anything like that, right? And so that's why it's always better to be thinking for the long run, setting yourself up, setting your whole generation and families up, just like how Dolph was trying to do by leaving 12 million in cars and everything and almost, 50 million in houses and all these businesses. He left for Mia J. He left that for Trey, his son. He left a lot of jewelry, millions and millions of dollars worth of blue diamonds, jewelry, dolphins, and all the PRE emblems. Everything, he gave that to Key Glock. He gave it to Big Moochie Grape. He gave it to Jay Fizzle and Bankroll Freddie. A lot of the PRE guys, Dolph already said in the interviews that when it's his time, all his jewelry, all of the material stuff is going to be given back to those who was with him from day one. And that's exactly what's going on. And so that's why people need to protect that and make sure that everything in the Dolph Museum is solid and dusted. Everything is good. We got to start the aquarium, the Dolph Water Park aquarium with the actual dolphins in there so you could pet the petting zoo and all of that stuff, man. And basically, at the end of the day, people got to realize that they really got to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and comment below. And I'm going to catch y'all later.